I'm Mark Bessett, and I am the chairman for the UPI work group, which is also known as the Universal Property Identifier. In the UPI work group, what we're trying to do is come up with a standard model for how you would identify properties. Properties in general have a lot of items associated with them that are disparate items like claims, insurance claims or listings. And the UPI is kind of the glue that holds all that together, can identify everything across the board. Oftentimes in real estate, people put a listing together, for example, and it's attached to a property. We don't think of it, and unfortunately what RESO is all about is we don't think about that in terms of a property, we think of that in terms of listings. And a listing is really an attribute of a property. And the way we can connect all of the things that are associated with the property together is the UPI. So the listing is, in a way, an attribute for a property, and by using the UPI, we can connect any listing up and any other piece of information like who owns the property or how big the property is or any tax records. A very good use case for the UPI is deduplication of data. So I have 3 listings and they're really for the same property. As an aggregator, I can recognize that we have 3 listings that are really for the same property, and so I don't have to maintain all those listings. Especially when it comes to a multi-MLS market, where as an agent I might generate several listings because I just want them to be in all of these MLSs, and that's a problem for data aggregators where the consumer just wants to see one listing. So that we have many use cases for the UPI, some of which, as I mentioned, were the deduplication, but some of it is around research. So I can score properties, for example, based on the number of claims, insurance claims that were filed against it. I can validate if for example, if I am a title company, I can use a UPI to manage all of the deed records that have come back for a particular property. I can align tax records. So if I have a bunch of tax records that are otherwise not conjoined to a property, I can attach those to a particular property if they all use the UPI. We have several vendors in the UPI work group that are allowing access to their data through the UPI. So various members of the work group have property data that's available. Zillow is one of the members of our work group. They have listing data and property data. And a big problem or a challenge that we try to solve is when an agent wants to create a listing, they want to put in a minimal amount of information. And with the UPI and what the work group members have put together, they're able to, with a minimal amount of information, get a UPI from a service that's provided by these vendors in our work group, and then go query another vendor that's putting together information in our work group to fill in the rest of the listing. So once I type in an address, I can get back the UPI, and the UPI is specific enough to where I can go extract ownership information for it. I can get the square footage of the property. I could find out the location of the property. I could find out the area of land and other factors. In the UPI group, the next thing that we're trying to solve is expanding what we have to other countries. So right now we have defined a UPI, and the standard is available for review for everywhere in the United States. And it's a hierarchical model so that it's distributed, and we don't try to solve how the UPI is defined on a property by property basis. We let the governing authorities establish each lower instance. So it starts with America, or US, and then it goes to counties, and then it goes to sub-counties, and then the entity that creates the parcel number is essentially that final piece of the UPI. When we talk to the next level of what we're going to do, we would like to do that same thing for Canada and other countries. We would love to have some participants from Canada in our work group coming up specifically. We're also looking for some help in defining a registry, which might be around blockchain. It might be around a simple registry so we can evaluate a scoring system so that we can have a way to measure the validity of a UPI.